Welcome to week 4 and our final week of bar cookie month. Now, I hope you've enjoyed the other recipes we've done here. If you missed any of them, you can find them all up here. There are some good ones. Remember those Tbsp bars? Yeah, I think those may have been my favorite. But today we're going to finish up with a peanut butter blondie. These blondies are a peanut butter lover's dream come true. They are soft and chewy, packed with peanut butter and some chocolate too. Now you may wonder, what is a blondie versus a brownie? Well, a blondie is a little bit more softer and chewier, I find, than a brownie. And it's also made with brown sugar, and it doesn't have cocoa powder in it or chocolate in it like a brownie does. So let's get started. All right, to start with, as we did with our other bar cookies, we're gonna use our 9x5 loaf pan that I have lined with a parchment sling. If you don't know how to cut one of these, make sure you check out my video up there. But it is a perfect, easy way to align a loaf pan. You just push it down in and it fits perfectly. Makes it super easy to remove those bar cookies too. We've also preheated our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to start with some butter. I've got a 1/4 cup of softened salted butter in here. If you're using unsalted butter, go ahead, add a pinch more of salt in. We're going to add in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar and 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. Now I'm just going to take my hand mixer and mix this together till it's nice and light and fluffy. And next, we're gonna add our very important ingredient. We're gonna add our peanut butter. Now, this is my peanut butter choice. I am gonna use I prefer in these bars a creamy peanut butter. And a lot of people ask me, well, can I use that natural peanut butter? You can, but I find that it does affect the texture and consistency of the bar. So, just know that there will be a change there. Also, if you can't have peanut butter, you can totally substitute your favorite nut butter, almond butter, cashew butter, whatever that might be. So we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of creamy peanut butter. Let's just give that a mix. And into that, we're gonna add 1 egg and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. 1/2 teaspoon or, more. And then mix that. Now into this, we're gonna add 2/3 cup of all-purpose flour. I like to make sure my flour is kind of fluffed. I'll scoop and then I'll scrape. So 1/3, 2/3. And we're gonna add in some salt, just 1/8 teaspoon, a little bit more if you've used unsalted butter. And then some baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. All right, now we're gonna mix this just until our dry ingredients are incorporated. You don't want to overmix. Overmixing makes for a tough bar cookie. All right, we're ready to put our dough into our prepared pan. I'm gonna grab a spatula. So we wanna make sure we get all of that dough out of there. And then I'm just gonna take my little offset spatula and spread it into a nice even layer in the bottom of the pan. Now, if you wanted to, you could just add in some chocolate chips to this batter, and that would be delicious, but we're gonna take it up a notch and use some Reese's peanut butter cups. I am using the mini ones. There's different sizes, there's regular, there's mini, there's miniature. The miniature ones are a little bit bigger than these, but these are like little tiny, just bite-sized peanut butter cups. And for the small batch version, these will work great. If you were making a full-size version of this, which I do have a recipe for that I'll link to down below, I would use even almost the miniature or the full-size peanut butter cups. And if that's all you have, go ahead and put these in there. You just won't need as many. So all I'm gonna do is just press the peanut butter cups into the batter. Now, you can put in as many as you want, depending on how much chocolate you want. I'm probably gonna add in, I don't know, 6, 12, maybe 18. You could put in less. And I just push them down so you can see the top. You can still see the top of the peanut butter cup, but the rest of it is down into the batter. All right, we're gonna bake these for about 20 minutes or until they start to turn lightly golden brown. You don't wanna over bake a brownie because a brownie can dry out really easily. So use the toothpick trick and insert a bit. You want it so that when you pull it out, there's still a few little crumbs. You don't want gooey batter, but a few little crumbs on it is good. If it's totally clean, they may be close to being overbaked. So you want to bake them just until they just start to turn that golden brown because we want them nice and soft and chewy. All right, so 350, 20 minutes. I check them at about 15. All right, it is, you can see it's nice and golden brown around the edges and just lightly golden brown on top so that it's set in the middle. Just perfect. We're gonna set it aside to cool. And while it cools, we are gonna melt some chocolate because we're gonna add some more chocolate to these peanut butter bars. If you don't want more chocolate, totally leave this part off. But in addition to chocolate, you could also melt some peanut butter and drizzle it with peanut butter if you want even more peanut butter. But today, I want more chocolate. So I've got about 1/3 of a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips in here. I'm gonna melt them in my microwave. You could totally do it on the stove top in a saucepan. Just stir it constantly just until they melt and they're a nice drizzling consistency. Now, if you can't get your chocolate to a nice drizzling consistency, I got a tip for you. Hold on just a minute. All right, I have melted my chocolate in the microwave. And my chocolate's actually not too bad. Could maybe be a hair thinner, but here's the trick. Take a little bit of vegetable oil or canola oil, and you want to just add in just a drop. There you go. Mix that in, and it will really help to thin out your chocolate. You don't ever want to add water into your chocolate because that will cause the chocolate to seize up. So, but oil works just perfect. There, now we got a little bit better flow. So we're going to take I've left these cool for about 10 minutes or so. We're gonna remove them from the pan. And you can see how easy it is here thanks to our parchment sling. And I'm gonna leave the parchment underneath here while I drizzle the chocolate so that it doesn't make a mess all over my kitchen counter. But we're just gonna take this chocolate in a fork and just drizzle it across the top to add even more yummy chocolate goodness to these peanut butter bars. Like I said, you could also, in addition to the chocolate, melt some peanut butter in the microwave or on the stove top and then just drizzle the top with that too. So chocolate and peanut butter. And then I just let the chocolate set up a little bit. I've sliced them. I'm gonna slice them into 8 pieces because they're very rich and delicious, but can you see? Now, if they sink a little bit in the middle, that's totally fine. That's totally normal. I think it's the weight of those peanut butter cups and in the smaller pan. It does have a tendency just to, as you can see, to settle or sink in the middle a little bit, but it just makes that little part more chewy and gooier, which is yummy. If you are a chocolate peanut butter fan, you are going to love these peanut butter blondies. They are a delicious. That center is just soft and chewy and peanut buttery. This concludes Cookie Bar Month. I hope you've enjoyed all those recipes. Again, make sure you check them out all up there. So if there is a bar cookie that we haven't done yet or I haven't done yet that you'd like to see in small batch form, go ahead, leave me a comment down below. And if there's something else, what should we do next month? What should our theme be? If you've got some ideas for me, I want to hear them. Again, leave a comment. But thanks for following along. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today, and I'll see you in our next video.